Buddy, welcome to the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, Florida attorney over here in Asia. And I'm glad to be here today. And we're going to be covering a number of topics today, kind of getting a smorgasbord of news. A little bit of an impromptu stream. I'm going to have to send this out on Twitter. Hope I see all you guys over there on Locals, legalmindset.locals.com. We are being heavily censored, and I can tell that right now because only 19 people are in here, whereas there usually would be hundreds of people in here on this channel at this time. So make sure you guys are sharing this out there, getting this out there, because frankly, this is exactly what they don't want you to see, and this is exactly why YouTube continues to be a platform that, look, as soon as these other platforms are better, they're built up, they're able to be more sustainable, I think you're going to see a mass migration to these other platforms because YouTube is engaged in such blatant BS. So anyways, hope you guys are doing well. Good to see the people in the chat here today. Danielle, Deha, good to see you. Let's see, D. Townsend, good to see you as well. J. Alexander, just on. There you go. Now we're starting to get up there. 67 people in the chat today. Awesome. So I'm just going to tweet this out. So check out this live. Yeah, so it's really weird because these platforms, they really go out of their way to try to censor content. And I don't think they really wanted anybody to talk about the naughty T-Dog, right? And anything that was going on involving the Capitol. And because of that, yeah, my latest videos really, I noticed, really in a ridiculous way, were not shown to anybody out there the last couple days. Just ask yourself, why is that? Why is it that those aren't out there? Dwayne says, I have no other social media to share. That's fine. Tell people, tell your mama, tell your dad. Yeah, tell everybody. But yeah, it does feel like it's been forever. Jay Liebgott, good to see you, brother. It does feel like it's been forever for some of you guys. And it's good to see you. It's good to have you back. I will say I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an update on what my schedule is, what I'm going to be doing, what I'm looking forward to. We also got some other news topics. We're going to start talking about this North Korean, this soldier, the U.S. soldier. I got some information on that and was able to dig up some stuff, particularly from Korean sources, which is going to be pretty much the penultimate story here regarding Travis King. So we're going to start talking about that. But the Travis King story, I think, is actually going to be very interesting because this is going to be a saga that's going to go on for a while now. Travis King is the guy who fled in North Korea. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this Disney relocating thing that went out. They're trying to push this again. It's a crazy crackhead theory, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about the upcoming trials, and we'll get into soccer and why I made that the main thumbnail here, because I'm seeing a lot of this bullshit pop up again regarding women's soccer. And we got to handle that. We got to keep our hands strong. Reply by mail says, you're in the YouTube jail. I know a lawyer. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely in YouTube Lab, or at least the YouTube Bad Girl Room. And I know that everybody who's over there on my legalmindset.locals.com is on the Bad Girl Room. Is in the Bad Girl Room, rather. So good to see everybody there as well. Shout out to Jay, Simbi, Ski, Danielle over there on my legalmindset.locals.com. So let's jump right into it here today with this first topic I want to get into, which is regarding Travis King. Yeah, that's the chat is definitely being throttled for sure. Okay, so let's get into this Travis King article here and this story as well. So this one, a lot of platforms have covered this, and a lot of people have sent this to me because, as you guys know, I used to live in South Korea, in Seoul, South Korea. I've been to the DMZ. I've seen the DMZ. I haven't gone on this particular tour because this one required a reservation. I went on a different tour that did not require a reservation because I did not want to wait and go through an authorization process and all this other bullshit. I just wanted to go when I felt like it. So I didn't go on this specific tour. However, I know exactly where this is. I know exactly where he crossed over. He actually crossed over at the exact same point that Otto Warmbier crossed over. And there's a whole saga regarding Otto Warmbier and how he was an idiot and what that guy did. That's a whole separate story. But that being said, yes, so Travis King is this army. I believe he was a private. And he crossed over into North Korea during a border tour. So the guy was on a border tour. You can actually see him right here on the tour. So this is the guy on the tour looking at the border. So he's there, border's over here. He's looking at it, right? And he's there in a black shirt, black cap. So here's the story on what happened to this guy. So this guy had been held in detention because he was fighting. So he was being investigated. He was a private, second class. He was arrested for fighting, and he was suspected of punching a Korean national in a nightclub in Seoul. He was fined 5 million won, which is about 3,900, 4,000 bucks, for repeatedly kicking the back door of a police car and screaming foul language at officers trying to apprehend him. So I did a little bit of follow-up on this guy and this story, and of course your boy always gets the juicy little details here. So one of the juicy little details here is that he was on a very specific Korean dating site. So there's a lot of different dating apps in Korea. A lot of them are specifically geared towards Koreans. Of course, you can use things like Tinder and Bumble, but most people use other apps if you're looking for a Korean girl. And he was actually on this app looking for a Korean girl. So I think he wanted to get a Korean girl. Well, I think he probably found out that there's no reparations in South Korea. You're not just owed, a random Korean waifu when you show up. And I guarantee you what happened in a club in Seoul is in Seoul has a very, very, very aggressive club game. If you guys ever go out to a club in Korea, even if you bring a girl with you, they will try to grab that girl. Guys will just reach out and physically grab the arm of that girl. Like, it's very much like a, hey, come here, like caveman style, like come here. People try to pull the girl away from you, take the girl away from you. It's a very aggressive club game. And the thing about Korea that you have to understand, particularly South Korea, is you cannot get into physical altercations. You cannot push people, you cannot threaten people, you cannot fight people. Now, it is a little bit unfair because as an American, you're like, okay, well, what if they grab my girl? I just got to let them grab them. Well, you can say something, but you can't do anything. So I guarantee you exactly what happened is he was in a club. This guy was in a club. I guarantee this is what happened. He was in a club. He was talking to a girl probably. Probably wasn't with a girl. He probably didn't bring a girl because he seemed like if he'd had a girl, he wouldn't have been at the club in the first place. He was probably talking to some Korean baddie. And by the way, there's Korean girls that'll go out with anybody, that'll go out with foreigners, whatever, they don't care. But he was probably in a club and some Korean guy probably grabbed the girl he was talking to. They probably physically grabbed her, remove her, right? It was like, hey, I'm taking this girl. And he doesn't know what's up with that. And I think a lot of American guys, they kind of lose it, especially, I'm just going to say it right here, especially the POC woke crowd from America. They get really emotional and they can't control their emotions. So what do? They get angry, they regress, go return to monkey, and they just, boom, go and hit somebody. And when you do that, you're going to get in big trouble. Now, oftentimes I will say this, soldiers do get a pass because soldiers actually end up going to a kind of special procedure, special process where they end up just getting a slap on the wrist and thrown back into the regular service. They don't get sent home. But because I think he kicked the cop car and he was screaming at the authorities, I think that's what really got him in trouble. Not so much punching the Korean dude, but actually kicking the cop car, breaking the cop car, which is what he did. Now, I will say this. I actually would hate guys like King when I was in Korea because here's what happens. Whenever a little asshole like King has a little outburst at a club, guess what happens? They ban every foreigner from clubs in all of Korea for a month or 2 months or 3 months. Every single time an asshole like King acts out every time. Every time. They end up closing all the clubs to foreigners. So he ruins it to everybody. I've been trying to go to clubs in Korea, and they've been like, sorry, no foreigners this month. Because some fucking asshole like this guy, and yeah, I've already cursed, so I've demonetized the stream. Make sure you smash the like button, guys, because they're not sending out notifications on. They're 100% trying to censor my channel. So make sure you guys are sharing this out, post it on Twitter, share it out there. But anyways, this guy 100% got cucked in the club, and that's what happened. So he lashed out, he got angry. So guess what? He was walked to the terminal. So they were going to take him out. He was going to leave Korea, right? So they walked this guy out. Here we go. He was being escorted to the airport, right? So the military took him to the airport, but he didn't get on the plane because here's the thing. Military police is not allowed to take you all the way to the plane. They just take you to the terminal. So when he got to the plane, he said, oh, I lost my passport. So then they got him out of the departure area, and then he went to the DMZ immediately. So he was escorted by the military, which is kind of a clever move on his part, escorted by the military to Incheon, but they can't go with you into past security. They can just escort you there. And so once you're there, okay, you're on your way, you're there, and you leave, you get out. So that's when he made his run on the DMZ. That's when he made his run on North Korea. And he pretty much just dashed. And now people were like, oh, he's running, go get him. But it was too late. He actually crossed over about the same way Otto Warmbier did into North Korea. So now, of course, he was immediately spirited into a van, and he is now enjoying his best North Korean detention life in North Korea. And yes, you're exactly right, Don Baca. It's host of force agreement or SOFA, right? I think it's a status of force agreement, SOFA, right? So the SOFA. So that's typically what deals with them. Angry Canadian says, military takes you wherever they want. Well, they didn't take him all the way. They didn't take him all the way. So he got away. You know, whatever the military tried to do, they did not do it thoroughly. And shout out to my good man, Max Mura, my man in Japan, who said, hello, hello. Nice to see a man who set record amount of damages in a KIA. Best Korea can legally change his name from King to Kim. Very true. Very true. Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's really cool to see a lot of y'all in the chat today. 300 of you. Make sure you smash the like button so it goes out there and gets past this YouTube censorship. So this guy's in for a long saga. I'll stay tuned on this one as your agent in Korea. And I still, by the way, am going to spend a good amount of time in Korea, despite the fact that I've kind of relocated the home base here. I'm still going to be up there. I'm going to visit Vice's in Busan fairly shortly. I'm going to see whether I do that before or after I go to America. So yeah, that's what's up there and with the story. So I'll stay on this one. Should be very interesting. His mom wanted to have him back, in the U.S. His brother, they all miss him. But this is something crazy. But honestly, only a deranged lunatic would think running into North Korea, an emotional, just childlike idiot would think running into North Korea as a soldier would be a good idea. This guy is absolutely 100% going to be in deep shit in North Korea. He's going to be interrogated, possibly violently. This guy's going to be in this guy's going to be in a whole mess of trouble because he's a soldier. He's not just a civilian, right? He's a soldier. So the presumption is that he's a spy. So they're going to have to torture him until they figure out that he's not a spy, in which case they're probably going to get him to confess that he's a spy and write out a confession that he's a spy. So I don't doubt this guy is in for it's some fun times. And of course, for all those that think he was trying to find a hot North Korean bride and that he's going to get his North Korean waifu. Yeah, as they call it in North Korea, in Korean it's the different word, but essentially the North Korean equivalent of miscegenation is technically illegal in North Korea. So good luck with your conservative, traditional North Korean waifu. I know that's very sad for a lot of you with your North Korean waifus, but that's not happening for him either. But yeah, good to see everybody in the chat. 324 of you in the chat today. So make sure you guys are smashing the like button. We're at 144. Let's see if we can get to 150. I know we can get to 150 here today. An American Green Beret ski on local says an American Green Beret was saying that Korean special forces are badass. Yes, they are. They're extremely badass. I think the thing about Korea, their most impressive branch is their army, is their land forces. They're really scaled back on the naval and air forces, and I think that's supposed to be so they don't intimidate China or or North Korea or whatever else. But that being said, they actually build out, it's funny, they build out their Navy. They have a tonnage limit, sort of like the old Washington Treaty had a tonnage limit on ships before World War II. They have a tonnage limit on ships, but the Koreans literally build up to the tonnage limit. They'll build it to the maximum weight capacity that the U.S. impresses on them because the U.S. tries to kind of hold them back. Yeah, it is a big culture shock for folks when they see other countries that, I don't know, they implement limiting rules. But yeah, their Navy is very competent. Yeah, like Little Sauce says, they have a lot of missile boats and littoral stuff, a lot of good stuff, a lot of submarines that are really capable, a lot of detection of submarines is very capable. So very capable forces, but interesting. People said there's been a few rare documented interracial marriages in North Korea from American soldier defection. Very, very, very rare. Very rare, Deha. Very rare. All right. So that was that on that first story. I have not seen, ask me, have I seen the U.S. soldier versus Korean soldier dance off? No, but I'm pretty sure that like the Korean soldiers would probably do all right. Probably doing all right. Just saying. Do you think Travis King looked up racial equality in North Korea before he crossed? Probably not. Probably not. And I'm glad you guys are enjoying Bangkok Bros, my new show on my other channel. If you guys haven't checked that out, please make sure you do check that out. We're going to have some more ladies in, some different ladies in on Sunday. We're going to be talking about Ukraine. We're going to be talking about Russia. I think that's the topic du jour, particularly because there's a lot of stuff going on like that. And we're abroad. We're doing those politics. And we are literally 55 subscribers on Bangkok Bros from getting to 500, which is one of the limits for monetization. So if you guys want to come over here, Bangkok Bros is my new in-person podcast that I do on Sundays, Saturday nights and Tuesday nights Eastern time. So definitely check that out if you guys haven't checked that out already. Almost there on the subs for that channel. So really a fun time. My good friend Ben is a great co-host for that one. All right, so let's get into the next one here. Which is my story on Disney. So I saw this pop up. This is from the Messenger. States are pouncing on the potential opportunity to host Mickey Mouse as tensions heat up between Disney and DeSantis. So this is hilarious that they're trying to push this narrative again. They're trying to push this like saber rattling about about Disney World moving. This to me has been the most insane thing. And as I put on my profile, anybody who actually believes this is insane. But let's look over here at the article. So apparently the states, which are actually hilarious, are Colorado, North Carolina, and Texas. Now, mind you, these are, ostensibly, at least North Carolina and Texas are. North Carolina is very purple, but Texas is essentially a red state. Well, it turns out it's the Democrats. It's the Democratic politicians in Colorado, North Carolina, and Texas. So, for example, the Democratic governor says we will grant Mickey Mouse and Minnie full asylum in Colorado. This is back in April. This is last year. So this is all old information. But yet the Disney shills, the Disney media, Sasha Jones, over here, is trying to drum up this BS about relocating, right? Saying, okay, relocate to Colorado. Let me tell you this right now. In terms of relocating, Colorado has a GDP, a state revenue of 70 billion. If you took every single tax dollar and you stopped everything you were doing in Colorado and gave that to Disney Corporation, if you took all $70 billion and you gave that to Disney and said, move everything, buy the land, move over here, rehire the employees and rebuild everything, they probably could not do it. They could not find the land for that price, could not rebuild everything, not rehire the employees in Colorado or North Carolina or Texas. It's not possible for that price. You're talking in the $1 trillion range. If you're actually rebuilding everything from scratch in a new state, it's not happening. Even if there's no tax subsidy in the world you can give them. There's no amount of money you give them. You could literally hand them the check for every single dollar you make. It will not be enough to rebuild that. It is so big. People do not understand the amount of resorts on there, the amount of infrastructure, the amount of pipes, pavement, electrical lines, solar farms. You've got all sorts of supporting facilities, buses, other things that, yes, some of the vehicles can be moved, but that would be a massive expenditure. That'd be a massive expense for Disney at a time in which Disney barely has 2 coins to rub together to buy Hulu. It is 100% not happening. And yes, North Carolinians are also inviting it here today. Let's see. This is in Fort Bend. Actually, this is Texas. So Fort Bend says, Disney characters are diverse as Fort Bend communities. We welcome you to visit Fort Bend as your next destination. And, folks in North Carolina, I think gave a similar message. They were trying to pass a Mickey's Freedom Restoration Act, which was hilarious, trying to attract Disney to the state. Once again, all those states do not have enough money to do this. So it's hilarious to see that this is a propaganda spin that is going down regarding Disney right now. Because obviously it's a point at which they're not doing that well overall in their endeavors, right? They're actually doing very poorly regarding their case, which is something that, when you look at the case itself, should have been dismissed at the federal level, and probably will be shortly. But it's still there at the state level, which is going to cause a lot of problems for them in the near future. So I think this is a big distraction from the actual case. And if you actually pop over here and we look at the case, you can see right now that in the actual lawsuit, this is actually the lawsuit for the CFTOD case. This is the state case here. You can see there was an update in the state case as of the 19th. So there was a posting on the 19th, some correspondence. And in that correspondence, they both are submitting their motion to dismiss, to deny the motion to dismiss, right? So there's a proposed order to deny the motion to dismiss and a competing order from Disney. Those have been submitted. The court has decided not to rule at this point, so Judge Schreiber is not ruling on the motion to dismiss. They're just going to proceed with the case. So we're actually going to go into preliminary discovery in this case. So this is exactly what Disney does not want. This is proceeding, and they don't want people to cover this case. They don't want people to know about this case, and that's why they're pumping these crazy news stories like Disney leaving and rebuilding somewhere else. They're trying to distract. That's kind of the fugazi, that's the distraction, while at the same time, they're not doing that well in their state case, which is going to expose a lot of their BS. So yeah, that's my take on that. Don Baca says, it's ironic that Disney is most likely going to sell off ABC to raise cash because that's where Iger came from. They're going to have to sell whatever they can get just to make the purchase. I think everything is going to be up for sale. ESPN, NBC, FX, Nat Geo. If Apple buys those, it'll be very, very interesting. It'll be very, very interesting to see what they end up doing with those. Sell KK. I don't think anybody wants to buy KK. I'll tell you that one. I don't think anybody wants to buy AKB. But I mean, Disney shareholders are not doing well right now. They're not doing well right now. So that's a little bit of an update on that. Obviously, guys, I'm going to stay on top of those cases. Make sure that you guys stay tuned for that one. And let me actually put a little poll here in the chat. Are you guys enjoying the Disney case updates? So I'll do that for you guys to make sure you guys are enjoying it. Just a simple yes/no poll in the chat here. Because I want to make sure you guys are enjoying it. If you guys aren't interested, then maybe I'll consider how often I do it. But just want to make sure you guys are enjoying that.